Welcome to the Before Midnight podcast, coming to you from the N+1 studios overlooking beautiful downtown Frankfurt. In this podcast, we explore the world of age group triathletes. We'll be looking at the real-world challenges of being an amateur multi-sport athlete. I'm your host, Linda Word, along with my co-host, Brian Schenkenfelder. What's going on today, Brian?
I'm phenomenal. I'm ready to go. Celebrating the 1-year anniversary of almost being murdered.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, for those of you that haven't listened to our podcast for the last year.
I don't think we talked about it except for last year at this time when
we talked about it
actually happened.
A little bit because it was pretty dramatic.
For those who are new to the podcast, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but I'll at least give a recap of the events from 1 year ago.
You all have the best COVID story of anybody.
Yes, I win the crazy COVID story,
yes.
Period. Bar none. No one else can top my story.
Nope. You got it. You win that award.
I believe it was May 15th, so it was a few days ago, a year ago, a couple of days, where we were at home, and late at night, a car drives up. My wife sees him out in the driveway. He looks up and sees her in our bedroom. She's on the second floor, and he kind of like points at his crotch, and I am on my way downstairs at this point just to, are you lost?
Was he honking his horn?
No. He just come up and was hanging out in our house. In front of our house. Actually, he got out of his car, was walking around
the driveway. Nice.
I go outside. I'm like, okay, is this guy lost? He thinks he's somewhere else. I don't know. He sees me come out the door. And before I can really even say anything, he jumps back in his car, drives down the driveway. For those who don't know my house, I've got probably 1.5 football lengths driveway. It's not short.
Yeah.
You have to kind of want to get back to my house.
Yeah.
It's kind of, we're on a dead end, and we're at the end of the dead end. There's just no good way to find my house. He peels out down our driveway and he starts honking his horn. I'm like, well, that's strange. And you can hear him honking his horn. He goes through some of the other neighborhoods around here for a good 5 or 10 minutes. Eventually it seems to kind of fade away, and it's like, well, I guess he's someone else's problem at this point. We go back upstairs and getting ready for bed again. I hear he's coming up our driveway. Now, when you come up to the end of our driveway, there's a right-hand turn that goes into a garage.
Mm-hmm.
The house would be on your left. He pulls in front of the garage. I walk out at this point. He sees me walk out. He turns the car around, points it at me, and then guns it. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, he's just kind of bluffing, trying to be a badass and whatever. Yeah. I back up towards the house. He keeps coming.
Absolutely.
I can't really tell how fast he's going because the headlights are on me. It's kind of hard to get depth perception in the light and things. And next thing I know, that car is right on top of me. I'm not really sure what happened next. Somehow I dodged the car. Car comes crushing into our house. I pop up. The guy gets out of his car, leaves it running, music blaring, takes off. Fortunately, that would have to shoot him.
Yeah. Good thing.
Because I was ready to shoot him at that point.
Yeah.
I'd popped up, and I was there was.
Meanwhile, Jenny is upstairs.
She thought I was dead because
Yeah.
you couldn't see the front of the house from our bedroom.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it shook the house.
Well, I bet. Yeah.
It hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
It tore up the front of the house. He jumps out of his car, runs down the driveway. I really can't chase him because I'm barefoot, actually.
Yeah.
I think I took a couple steps, like stepped on a rock, and like, oh, this hurts. I'm not chasing him down the driveway. At this point, I'd retreat back to the house. My wife's yelling for me. I'm like, hey, I'm okay. Call 911. But I don't know where he went because about 20 yards from the house where the light is, you can't see anything. Everything's
right,
pitch
you
black.
can't see anything past the light.
Like, is he coming back around? I don't know. I'm kind of standing outside by the door with my back to the wall so he can't jump me from behind,
mm-hmm.
and hoping he's not like circling around the house and going in through the back of the house or something.
Right.
It was probably 4 or 5 minutes before the cop showed up, which was probably about right.
Yeah.
They weren't too far away. It's just
feels like 3 hours.
It takes a while for cops to get someplace. The cops show up. They had found him, and then they get my story. And I'm like, hey, he came back twice. And then it took him a while, but they're like, oh, he tried to run you over? I'm like, yeah. And so then the charges went to like attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up getting arrested. We end up hearing from the cops the next day. well, is that him? Blah, blah, blah. You know, they had me ID him. I'm like, yeah, that looks like him. It looks like the guy that kind of hit me.
Hard to...
We'll see. Yeah, it's hard to see at night. Your adrenaline's pumped. The dude's at the end of the driveway. Apparently, he has resisted arrest and got tackled in the street, so his face was all kind of bloody.
Yeah.
But it had the long hair. He had the same build. It did look like him. We're like, was that him? You know, was it? He's like, yeah, that was him. He admitted he did it. Said God told him to kill the homeowners. Yeah, he's a little crazy, or at least pretended to be crazy. I don't know if he actually is crazy or not.
Yeah, hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. He gets arrested and stuff, and then eventually we're like, okay, we find out his name. We go out on Facebook.
Well, of course.
Let's look it up. Let's see what kind of social media this guy has.
Yeah.
Turns out he was a rap star, which is always fun. The disturbing part was actually listening to his music because it was very...
We call him a rap star, but yeah.
He was a rapper. Sorry. Not a rap star. He was a rapper. His music was very dark, very... What word would I want to use? Ominous was probably a good word, but mostly it was very dark, very centered towards death and death of others and things of that nature.
Yeah, it's a little violent. Yeah,
violent. I got the feeling that he has a thing for like serial killers, which is just great.
Yeah, my kind of people.
I'm pretty disturbed. Like this guy, if he gets out, is probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna come back to me. I think I was just the random person he happened to find that night.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy. He's not even from the Frankfurt area. He's from Richmond, which is an hour away. Yeah. How he ended up in my driveway is still...
Twice
is still beyond me. Which makes this just so totally random that he was from there. We end up going to the prosecutor, and he wanted to talk to us about what do we want to do, charges, what all this stuff.
He drove into your house.
And... we start like, okay, let's kind of explain what our house looks like, what he had to do. Here's his music that we found. All these things we kind of gave to him. Like, I think this kid seriously got issues, and we need to. He doesn't need to be out on the street. Prosecutor kind of agreed. The guy got a psych eval. He was crazy, but can stand trial, which means that if he's convicted, he'll go to a mental hospital. If he's found healthy in that time period, he'll go into general population. If he's found guilty of the crime. The prosecuting attorney, we talked some, and he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to give this guy much of a deal, just because he chose to go off his medications and things to do this. Therefore, what's to keep him from doing it again some other point in time?
Right.
The problem is, with all this COVID year, they weren't having trials in Frankfurt. We still haven't had a trial. He's still out wandering around having a good old time.
Yeah, because he posted bail, didn't he?
He posted bail like immediately. They lowered the bail to something.
Yeah,
it wasn't very high. It was like 10,000 or something.
He was away for a couple months because I used to bike by the jail, and I was like, he's in there. I hope he stays there. And
he got out. He got out pretty quickly once they had the kind of the arraignment, because that's when the bond was lowered to something not very high.
Yeah,
he was able to get out. He's been out and about ever since. We still don't have any trial dates or anything like that on the horizon. We're a year out.
A year later, our judicial system can move very, very slowly. And in COVID, it's like, okay, it's not even sloth,
So we're at 1 year. It feels like 10. To be honest, it has felt like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it did.
It was crazy. It's just been a crazy year, and that was the cherry on the top of a crazy year.
Yeah, if y'all didn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have had any last year. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we're still waiting for the trial date on that one. I have no idea when it's going to be or anything like that.
I cannot imagine the backlog that they have right now.
They have a big backlog. My guess is got a lawyer who's fighting it, which just pushes it back even further and further because it's easy. I'm sure they're just kind of trying to get through the stuff that's easy right now before they get to some of the more challenging stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to be potentially one of the challenging one because he's got a lawyer that's not like a public defendant. He's actually got a lawyer. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm trying to figure out what they're going to try to do. I assume they're probably going to try to get another psychological one because the one they got was from the state.
Yeah. So they'll try and get a private one.
Because the prosecuting attorney's like, well, we could try to go find another psychologist, see if we can find one that says he's not crazy, or we can just kind of go with this one. this is the state. You're going to be fighting against the state appointed psychologist, which becomes a battle that probably isn't worth fighting.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he was found fit to stand trial, and that's the important part, because that means he's not going to just walk on some insanity plea.
Something will happen to him.
Yeah, he's going to have to face the judicial system on this one, and that's really the big thing from my standpoint. Whether he spends it in jail or mental hospital I'm indifferent to be honest.
Yeah, as long as
he goes away for a while.
Yeah,
because I think he's a danger from what I've seen. I think he's been wanting to do something like this for a while.
Right.
This is the first time he had the courage.
Drugs and everything else. Do you Google him every once in a while to see if he's done anything else anywhere else?
No, I haven't. Jenny might, my wife. She kind of follows him. I generally don't.
Yeah, she would know. Yeah. Yeah. Why am I asking you that? Yeah.
I know he had some other like DUI type stuff going on about the same time. I know they're fighting that.
Right.
In Lexington.
He had some restraining orders and stuff too, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just one of those things where we're still waiting for a trial. It's been 1 year. It's been fun.
Well, your house is kind of back together. You have a nice new front door.
We have a new front door, new windows, new a lot of things. Where
there
was nothing for months at a time. God, that took. Yeah, we didn't get those windows in until September.
God. Yeah, I mean it was all special order and stuff too. This is not a cookie cutter house.
4 or 5 months before we got back to to normal.
I was here that night and left. Obviously, way before that happened. And then Jenny texted me in the morning and was like, "Yeah, we had some excitement last night." Some guy drove into our house and my husband was home and I was like, "Holy cow." And he's like, "Tell her we'll bring over some plastic," because it was going to rain.
Yeah, fortunately you all came over and helped us kind of shore it up a little bit, so at least it was not just completely open to the weather, because that's what it was.
Yeah, there was weather crazy. Coming, there was glass, there was just, so the
whole wall was kind of pushed in. It was wild.
It was, oh my gosh, it was a mess. I mean, I bet there's still glass out there. That was crazy.
But anyway, I survived that. I'm still alive.
Yay, thank goodness you can jump.
They tried to kill me, but no.
Yeah, white men can jump. All we can figure is you went over the hood.
Oh my goodness!
Advantage of being an athlete.
One of the advantages of being an athlete, I think, I was a little bit lighter. I was able to kind of move to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I can't jump, so I know I didn't jump that much. Still think the car probably hit me and spun me around.
Yeah, because you landed kind of.
Because the way I landed,
I kind of figure that out.
I felt like I got carried over to my side, like I had been spinning, and because I landed on my feet, interestingly enough, but I got carried over onto my side.
Yeah.
So there was some momentum from somewhere. I just don't know if it was the momentum of me just getting out of the way, or I got spun and I landed, and that angular took me over. Anyway, yay.
Well, we're so glad you're still here. All right, you're still here. You survived.
I'm still here. I'm alive.
That's
why I'm phenomenal, man. I'm still here.
Oh my gosh! So how's your training going?
It's pretty solid, to be honest. The running's going really well. I did some intervals again today, 5K pace, some 4-minute efforts.
Nice.
That was good. I made it through. Didn't blow up. Excited about that.
Good.
My swimming is getting closer to where it was pre-COVID.
Good.
It's only taken me for that 4 or 5 months we were out of the pool. About a little over a year to get back to where I was. It was just 3 or 4 months out. And I'm still not back to where I was. I was swimming really well when all this went down.
Well, you get that, honestly, and I'm not even going to swim very much. I mean, I'm just there on Saturdays. That new girl is so fast. And we really haven't had anybody on the team that's been that much faster.
She's smooth, too. Yeah. Good swimmer.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking, somebody else to chase.
That's just somebody to model your stroke after, because she's got a pretty stroke.
Yeah, she's gorgeous in the water for sure.
The biking has been abysmal, to be honest. My longest ride this year is about 2 hours, and that was probably a month ago.
Yeah.
I just have not been able to ride more than an hour. I can get out during the week. Weekends have just been a bomb. It's either been cold or rainy.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. I got to bike last night about an hour and a half, but I was leading the slower group. I mean, it was a nice ride, but we averaged 13 miles an hour.
Right.
It's like, and this is a guy that was holding onto the brakes, and I was like, I'm going to see you at the bottom of the hill. I'll wait for you down there. I can't leave the dude. I mean, and he's a decent biker and all, but he's new at it and older. So anyway, yeah.
Fortunately, I don't race long distance.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world for me. I would like to have a little bit better base to train off of. What do you do? Although now this weekend's supposed to be like 100 degrees or something.
Well, the next weekend's not this weekend coming up, but the next weekend's Memorial Day. I'm supposed to do the Horsey 100. I mean, I haven't done nearly the miles. It's going to be pretty painful, but I will. I may not end up doing the whole thing, but take a long time.
Yeah,
but
it's been kind of a weird year. It's really been cold. There's supposed to be a race this weekend, and I imagine that water's going to be freezing.
That's right.
At least it'll be warm when you get out. It'll be 90 degrees when you get out, but
that water is going to be so cold. I was looking. I think it was 63 the other day. I've been keeping track.
It'll probably get up into the high 60s by the end of the week if it gets as warm as it's supposed to.
Yeah. Might be lucky to be like 68 or something if it gets sunny this week.
If we can get sunny this week and warm.
Yeah.
But it won't get much higher than that. It takes a while for that temperature to climb up.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Hope everybody's got a really good wetsuit because that's going to be some cold water.
Yeah, they're racing to Chattanooga this weekend too.
Oh my gosh, that's this weekend?
This weekend as well.
Oh,
wow. I imagine that water down there is going to be pretty cold as well.
It'll be warmer than ours, but yeah.
Not a lot.
Not by a lot, yeah.
It'll be 90 plus down there for that half. Whew. That's good times, man. That's good times. Yeah, we're going to have to play soccer in 90 degrees weather. That should be interesting this weekend.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Well, this weekend we got much competition than last weekend. Last weekend we played the other good league.
Oh, yeah. How did that go? I haven't talked to y'all about that.
That went really well. We had a good practice where we worked on going around the defense.
Okay.
As most people know, I follow football. Yeah. And one of the offensive teams that's really good at offense is Baylor. And one of the things they do is they take their wide receivers, the guy that catch the balls, and they put them all the way out on the sideline.
Okay.
On defense, you have safeties that are the farthest back, and they come up and run support or they help cover the pass.
Okay.
When you put your wide receivers way out on the side of the field, those safeties have a choice. They can either stay in the middle to be run support, or they can go out wide to cover to be an extra person out there to cover those receivers.
Right.
What you're doing, what the offense does, is forces that defense to commit to something. Well, I took that same strategy to soccer. Like, hey, let's put two people way out wide. We'll take the ball up the field because we were getting killed trying to get the ball up the field. Just transitions. They'd come up and press us. We'd be too far up the field. They'd come and take it, and they got some easy shots on us in that previous game. Let's go up the field. Two guys out to the right, all the way wide, not very far in front of you. Move the ball up. Once the defense comes to you to take it, kick it to whoever is on their side. And then we would just be way out wide, and then we could come down the field and come across over the middle, basically go around the middle of the defense. And it worked like a champ.
That's awesome.
We're still learning it and still getting better at it, but we didn't really have any turnovers right in front of the goal like we did the previous week.
Okay. Good.
We're set up to not do that because the ball, as soon as they come up to apply pressure, whenever they do, we immediately kick it out wide. You can't cover the two wide people and the guy bringing the ball up the middle.
Right.
It's just impossible. If you do bring everybody up to try to cover, then you can just kick behind them. There'd be a huge gap between them and the goalie that you could play behind them and get easy goals. Most teams will leave one person back, so you got two people to cover three. If you spread it wide enough, those two people can't cover three people. It's impossible. And you're they have to decide who they're going to defend. Eventually they're going to come for the person with the ball, and when they do, someone's going to be open. And that's who you pass it to.
And since your team knows how to pass.
Since we know how to pass.
Bingo.
That was very effective strategy.
Good.
The team we played was very similar to the team we played before. This time, like 11-2.
Awesome.
It was much more effective.
And you had a referee that kept score.
We had a referee that kept score. Oh my God, that's still embarrassing.
Yeah.
This team didn't have as many good players, but they had. I think some of their players were a little better than the players before. They just weren't as deep as far as number of players.
Okay.
And their strategy was a little bit different. Their strategy was to kind of press, get the ball, and immediately shoot.
Okay.
Since they never got the ball, they didn't really have a lot of opportunities to shoot. But they tend to shoot from distance, which is a little different than the other team. It's still a very direct strategy. It wasn't like pass. Now, their team did have this one girl who's probably the best player I've seen off our team in this whole thing. She had talent.
Cool.
She had really good ball skills. She did a lot of things really well.
She just didn't have a team to back her up.
She wasn't super fast. They had two other kids who were like really fast that were kind of the burners that could take it and really do damage because they were much faster than everybody else in the field. We did a good job kind of stifling what they could do just by going around them. I mean, it was really just go around. Yeah. Or if they got the ball, they really weren't in a position to do anything. We'd push them off to the side, and they'd try to shoot from a distance, and they just weren't accurate because they weren't in the middle of the field.
Right.
They're used to stealing it in the middle and kicking it straight, not from the side and having to kick at that angle.
Right.
And they struggled with it. It was good. I'm excited to get out there and get more week of practice. We got another game against somewhere in the middle of the pack. Chance to work on these things. Then we have the tournament next middle next week.
Wow.
Good times.
Almost done. It's so wild. It was quick.
Crazy.
Season. Yeah.
So how's your week in training going?
Haven't been swimming as much as I would like to. Haven't been biking nearly as much. I can finally run again. I ran for the first time after taking a couple of days off. I ran on Sunday, and I was like, my knee doesn't hurt. All right, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, really good. Really happy.
Deal with injuries. Never fun.
Yeah. And I kind of narrowed it down. I mean, it was just a series of different things that caused it in the first place. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I fell in a hole like a month ago and twisted my ankle. So yeah, no wonder my knee hurt. I was recovering from that. So that was good. So I ran Sunday, I ran Monday morning. I'm running again tonight. We'll see how it feels tonight. Yeah, hoping to get on the bike. I'm doing the Horsey 100 Memorial Day weekend. That is going to be painful. That'll be my first century, and I know that I'm not ready for it.
It's a lot of time on a bike.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. I mean, it seems to be like a big rolling party. That'll work for me.
Until you get to hour 8.
That's what they got sag wagons for. I have no shame. I have no problem. But what I'm really looking forward to, we've got a week and a half left of school, and I'll be able to get out during the day. I'll be able to go to swim team during the week again. Oh my God. Yay.
We'll get a few people once school ends. Hopefully.
I'll actually be able to, I just haven't been able to focus on training at all, and it's just been it's been something that I do. It's like, okay, it's time to swim. Okay, it's time to, it's just on my schedule to do it, but nothing has been focused at all, and I don't like it that way, but it's just as much brain power and energy I've got right now. So.
That's the challenge as age group athlete. Your schedule is rarely perfect.
Yeah.
Your training is rarely perfect. You kind of have to do what you can to get by. Really, the only thing you can do in situations like that is really focus on good quality workouts. I don't have done that.
Well, as you know, I'm a social athlete, and so if it's Sunday runs, I'm on my own. Those are pretty good. Those are I have a hard time doing intervals unless I'm on a treadmill. Well, I don't want to be on a treadmill. The treadmill I got at the gym, it's 9,000 degrees there. So I'm out on the road and trying to get negative splits or whatever. And then on the bike, I'm always with a group. I haven't been biking on my own.
Yeah.
So there's just been miles, but also with the injury, probably not a bad idea for me not to push things. So
potentially, yes. Yeah, that's really kind of the takeaway. Is look, life gets busy. Things get you.
Yeah.
When you're restricted in what you can train, you have to make sure that you at least get some good quality workouts.
Right.
Where you're putting in either hard effort or at least some type of pace that's not just easy.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can begin to start getting adaptations going. I mean, really, we're getting into the season. When I look at my schedule, I'm looking to race here at the end of August. I should be exiting my base right now. When I look at that, that's a little bit scary for me, mainly because my bike has been so poor as far as what I would normally do this time of year. But this time of year, the weekends have been really good weather, and we can get out and ride. And I've done probably a 2 to 3 hour type ride by now. I haven't had that. I haven't had any time on the bike over a lot of 1 hour, 75-minute rides.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's the race distance.
Something, but
the problem is it doesn't give you that foundation you need to really push some really hard stuff. I got to keep that in mind as I head into the build up to race. That hey, I don't have the base. That's life. That's just something that athletes have to deal with, and I can't just get upset about it or be like, oh no, my whole season's destroyed. Now I've got like, okay, now what can I do with what I have?
Mm-hmm.
That's the challenge now. Is what kind of results can I get with what I know is a little bit stunted base. My running's going well. If I can get my running and swimming well, if I can just get my bike to okay, that'd probably get me back to where I was when everything kind of got shut down.
Yeah.
I'm old enough now that I'm not going to get a lot faster.
Yeah.
it's more about holding on to your speed than it is gaining new speed.
Well, and like, you and I had talked about earlier, I mean, I'm doing strength training now and kind of think about it, and it's like, well, that's the one thing I can do. I can't get to the pool. I can't bike at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I can get to the gym, at 4:15.
You could put your bike on a trainer. I know athletes that...
I hate my trainer. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I can go to the gym for 20 minutes. I mean, and that's all I do. I mean, I do 20 minutes. I do arms, out of there. Or I do shoulders and chest, and I'm out of there. And it at least starts my day off moving, doing something.
Put your bike on the trainer.
Actually, there's a guy that's selling a Wahoo trainer. I need to get a hold of him.
I know a couple athletes that spend a lot of time on the trainer.
Yeah.
They're time restricted and really can only work out in the morning. If that's what you can do, that's what you can do. That would be miserable. I can't do the trainer. I'm an outdoor person.
Hence, I'm not doing that. I need to...
Fortunately, I also have the schedule that allows me to go out and ride in the daytime.
Yeah. My after-school schedule is usually when I could ride, but we've got new enrollments coming and all this other stuff, and it just hasn't worked out. So.
The good news is it's getting dark later, so
yes.
It makes it a lot easier to get out in the evening for those who can get out in the evening.
Yeah.
My big problem is just the weekends have been a nightmare. It rained last Sunday.
Yeah.
Can't go out and ride 3 hours unless you want to ride in the rain. And
nope.
I've been riding long enough. I have no desire to ride in the rain ever again. I know I can ride in the rain. I know it doesn't affect me negatively. It's just an annoyance that I don't really want to deal with.
Well, hopefully this weekend things will start looking a little better weather-wise and have good soccer games and be able to get out there.
Good times.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're looking for a coach, check us out at go3sport.com, and we'll talk to you next week.